Hello, everybody. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. It is the 17th of April, 12:41 p.m. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Gina, how are you holding up? And she refuses to talk to us. I'm starting to feel quite warmly towards her freaking cold shoulders now. Guinea! Are you alright? Why don't you say anything? What's the point, eh? Why go to all this trouble and fight so hard for the likes of me? What? Well, you saw that in that picture. What picture? Ah, you mean this! The photograph taken by Hurley's red-handed recorder! Well, I didn't think it would have captured a scene like that, that's for sure. It's hopeless. Anyone who sees that gonna think I did it, ain't they? Well, I won't pretend it wasn't a bit of a shock when the prosecution first presented it to the court. Surely you've gotta have your doubts about me now. You can't still think I'm innocent. Of course I can. Guinea, why don't you talk to us? That's what really happened that night. Eh? Ryuno's cleverly managed to piece together a lot of the new information, but still, we'd really like to hear it from you. Alright then. It was after we'd had the dinner that night at your place, right, Iris? Then we all had chat up in your office, didn't we? Yes, I remember. Ooh, finally gets to see her side of it. After that, I just couldn't get to sleep. So I slipped out and went out down to the streets to the 2 and 2 to Winterbank's place. I had to know if Iris' story was there or not, the Hound of the Baskervilles. I don't know what's it about or nothing, but if you ask me, there's something in it that Sholmes don't like. Something we don't want people reading. So that's why he lied to Iris about sticking it in Lugwith Winterbanks for safekeeping. At least that's what I thought at the time. So he broke into Winterbanks. I just had to know if it was there or not. I mean, I had no idea at all that was gonna kick off, did I? I struck the lock and snuck inside. It was dark as you said you like. So I gave the oil lamp on the counter a bit of wick, and that's when... What do you think you're doing here? I nearly died, I did, and next thing I knew... I'd grabbed the gun off the counter, was waving it in the air, I don't know what. Ah, you're the girl who was in here this afternoon. I didn't think pickpockets went in for armed robbery. The mantle script. The mantle script, have you got it here? Did Sholmes leave a load of papers with you? A story? I beg your pardon? The Hound of the something of the other. If it's in here, I want to see it. I'm sorry, young lady, but I soon rather die than relinquish an article belonging to one of my customers. I don't want it. What would I want with it anyways? I just want to see it. It's there, that's all. Oh, you want to see it, do you? I don't know if Sholmes really pawned it here or not. Please, just let me see it and I'll go. Oh, very well then. But for pity's sake, stop waving my gun around, would you? So then the old cove unlocked the storeroom door and we both went inside. And it was there, alright, the mantle script. Sholmes weren't lying after all. You did all that just to check for me, Guinea? Anyway, then there was a bit of a kick-up out in the main bit of the shop. The Skulkin brothers arriving on the scene, yes? What was that noise? Someone's breaking in! Dear me, is there some burglar convention here tonight that I don't know about? I think I forgot to shut the door behind me. I'm sorry. I'd better go and take care of it. Could I possibly have my gun back? Oh, well, I'll come with you and... Now, don't be foolish, young girl. You must stay right here. Don't leave this room under any circumstance. And with that, he took the gun out of me hands and walked into the shop. I went back in the storeroom, like he said, straining my ears on the dark to hear what was going on. It sounded like they got into a bit of a scrap. I started to think I should help see. So I was just about to go and out of the storeroom myself when... I heard a couple of shots go off too, I think, almost at the same time. And then there was, right in front of me, and my feet lying on my face down the floor. I was right next to the storeroom door, so I slammed it shut and locked it as quick as I can. Because you thought whoever had shot Mr. Winterwake's might come for you. Yeah, so I went and grabbed the old cove's gun. I figured I'd put up at least a fight. But when I got a better look at him, I knew. Winterbank was a goner. I felt funny in my head all of a sudden, kind of dizzy. And after that, I don't remember nothing. That must be when you passed out, Gina. If I hadn't done what I had done, the old cove might still be alive. Did you tell the police everything you just told us? Of course I did, and they didn't believe a word of it, did they? All they said was, if I keep telling lies, it'd make things even worse for me. He'll be right, Guinea. Don't worry. Just stay it strong a little longer. Ryuno's about to put the end to the real... about to put the real culprit through the mill. That cove what was in there in the afternoon? That Egbert Benedict? I still remember how he looked at me like I was nothing. He was there that night. We don't know his real name yet, but I'm convinced that he's involved somehow. Anyway, thank you for telling us what happened, Gina. I appreciate your honesty. You what? You can leave it all in Ryuno's capable hands now, Guinea. Mr. Naoto. Yes? How come you trust me? I don't get it. I mean, have you forgotten what happened in here before? Come on. It was only 2 months ago. Me and McGilded, we were told you a whole pack of lies. And you got the bog trotter off with him, even when he was a killer. No, I can never forget that. Huh. I did what I thought was the best at the time. But the pain of that error of judgment doesn't get any easier to bear. Still, don't forget that I also made you a promise. I told you that I'd be on your side to the bitter end, no matter what. But what if I'm lying? You could be working to get another killer off the hook for all you know. I was once in your position, Gina. I was accused in the trial. You were? Before I left Japan, I was accused of a murder. And strange as it might sound, the circumstances of the crime were pretty damning. I was sure that no one would believe it wasn't me who had done it. Oh, Ryuno. But there was one person who stood up for me, who believed in me, and was prepared to defend me. My best friend. Ryunosuke, no one believes in you more than I do. Leave this to me. All you need to do is put your faith in me and I'll do the rest. I was so happy I cried, but even then, somewhere inside me I couldn't help thinking. Surely he doesn't really believe in me, not completely. But I was wrong. As soon as my trial began, it was obvious that he had an absolute unwavering belief in me. And in turn, I developed an absolute unwavering belief in him. Since then, I came to realize, if you want someone to believe in you, you have to believe in other person first. What are you saying? I promise you, Gina, that no matter what happens, I'll keep believing in you. So you don't need to worry, I won't let you down. Even though I'm a diver and a no-good liar, you're not like McGilden, I know that. That's right. You're our friend, Giddy. Iris, we know you better than you think. And we've come to the conclusion that you're someone we can trust. Yes. That's really all we need to know. Exactly. Mr. Naoto,
Defendant Gina Lestrade and her legal representative. Court proceedings are about to resume. Please head into the courtroom immediately.
Yes, of course. Thank you. What a heartfelt moment. I've been both a defendant and a defending lawyer in my time, so I knew only too well just how hard it was to put all your faith in another. And I also knew just how hard it was to bear the burden of another putting all their faith in you. This is it at last, the final chapter, the final battle. Wish me luck, Susato-san, and I hope you're watching over me too, partner. April 17th, 1:41 p.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. Back in here.
I hereby call this court to order as we resume the trial of Miss Gina Lestrade. Lord Van Zeeks, have you successfully subpoenaed the witness?
The subpoena was delivered to the communication stations where the man works immediately, my lord. However, the heavy rain has delayed the arrival of his carriage, it would seem.
I see. Now let us turn our attention to the Inspector Gregson, basis of the case heard by the court this morning. The glaring omission of the third bullet in your report is a serious blunder, Inspector. Yes, I can only apologize, my lord. And although the defense chemical analysis of the blood of the scene makes for compelling arguments, I cannot permit such untried methods to be used as evidence in my courts.
That's a big mistake to cross Hurdy and me, a very big mistake. My lord, the subpoena witness has just arrived in the building.
Thank you, officer. Show him to the stand without delay.
Mr. Eggert Benedict. I did not expect to be crossing paths with him again so soon, and certainly not like this. Yeah, there we go. 4 people on the stand.
Thank you for complying with the court subpoena at such notice, sir.
But of course, my lord, as an upstanding member of London society, it is my pleasure to oblige.
Now, kindly state your name and occupation for the record.
Ashley Graydon, Communications Officer. Mr. Graydon and I both work at London Central Communications Station. Now, perhaps somebody would kindly explain what all this is about. You were apprised of the situation by the court officer on your way here, I presumed. Yes, I was. Something to do with a murder that took place at a pawnbroker's on Baker Street. And some nonsense about me having been there on the night in question. That is the accusation indeed. This really is beyond a joke, you know.
Very well, without further delay, the court will hear your testimony now, Mr. Graydon. You will respond to the accusation made against you under oath.
Gladly, my lord, gladly. Alright, we finally get to hear. So we know he did it for sure. We know he's there. Naturally, I have occasion to make use of a pawnbroking service from time to time. But are you seriously suggesting I colluded with these thugs to break into the place on the night of the murder? I have no intention of admitting to such an outrageous accusation, even if certain parties here present claim that my blood was found at the scene. Some sacrilege detective homebrewed tincture can hardly be taken as serious evidence.
So you deny the accusation completely, do you?
I must say I am dismayed. For the highest court in the land to be swayed by the self-professed detective's toy. It was the will of the jury, and our great British justice system demands that the jury will is upheld. There would seem we have the misfortune of a most inept assembly of jurors today.
By golly!
How long am I expected to be detained here?
In following the defense's cross-examination, your involvement in this matter has not been established. You will be free to leave immediately.
Good. Then I shall be away in time for afternoon tea. Some small consolation, at least.
Let's not hold up Mr. Graydon. Any longer than necessary, counsel. Proceed with the cross-examination.
So we meet again, Mr. Egbert Benedict. Or is it Mr. Graydon? My apologies, you are... Ryunosuke Naruto, defense lawyer. We have met. If you say so, Ashri Graydon Enchante. So... I trust we can conclude this quickly. But I'm not holding a flashy hat while we do it. Can I put it on? I just want to see what it looks like with it on. Alright, the accusation. Naturally, I have occasion to make use of a pawnbroking service from time to time.
Hold it!
Yes, we even met in the very pawnbroking where the crime took place on the afternoon of the day in question. Though, of course, you introduced yourself by a different name at the time. It was Mr. Egbert Benedict, I believe. Tell me,
Objection!
What made you... The witness is here to testify about the events that took place at that night. He is under no obligation to answer such unrelated questions. You can't be serious. Thank you, because I certainly do not feel inclined to answer such an inappropriate question. So he's going to be evasive, is he? In an effort to not give anything away. This could be tricky. But are you seriously suggesting I colluded with these thugs to break into the place on the night in question?
Hold it!
I read that last part completely wrong. Have you seen these two men before? This pair? No, I don't associate with criminals. They looked away, said by a man who introduced himself as Egbert Benedict. I'd like to know who I have to thank for this. Who made this outlandish accusation against me? The young lawyer there in the black. This is a farce. Whose idea was it to permit an outsider to work in the British court anyway? The British court? Well, needless to say, I have no intention of admitting to such an outrageous accusation. Where were you at around 1 in the morning on the night in question, sir? That is past the hour at which I would normally retire. I certainly was not in the company of these rapscallions. You're able to prove that.
Objection!
Listen carefully, my Nipponese friend, for you to appear to be under a gross misapprehension on this point. What do you mean? The witness maintains he was not at the scene of the crime. He was not obliged to prove his absence. If your accusation is that the witness was present at the scene, the obligation lies with you to prove your assertion. You will fulfill that obligation before putting any more unreasonable question to the witness. You didn't even say anything. A silent victory wiggle, thanks. I was expecting him to say something. Even if certain parties here present claim that my blood was found at the scene.
Hold it!
Alright, what do you have to say about that? Blood was found at the scene of the crime. There's no question of that. Mr. Shom's chemical analysis has positively identified the substance as such. But am I not the only human to have blood running through my vein, am I? How can you be so sure that the blood is mine? It could be equally the blood of one of these two miscreants. An individual's blood has a slightly different composition, it seems. Mr. Shom's chemical is able to differentiate a different... Spare me the science lesson. Who is this Shom's character anyway? Oh, I assumed all Londoners would know the name. He's a renowned detective. So even you are unable to bring yourself to say great detective. A great detective, you say? Tisk. Now we're in a realm of fairy tales, are we? Oh, this guy has something to say.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Skulkin? What, me? No, the other Mr. Skulkin next to you.
Why, I haven't helped you here with this. How many times have I got to tell you?
Yes, I know. You're not big bruv Skulky. Mr. Nash Skulkin.
Come blame me, governor. What you what? Oh.
Is it not the case that when Mr. Graydon just spoke a thought went through your mind? Would you care to share that thought with the courts?
Me thoughts? I'm none of the blah blah. I don't have none of them. It must have been him. You what?
Mr. Nash Skulkin, answer the question, please. What went through your mind when Mr. Graydon just spoke?
Nothing, honest, Gov, nothing. I was just thinking.
If we waves his rounder like this much more, it'll open up the wound again. That's all. What's wound?
Well, you took the bullet, of course. It was only 2 days ago. It ain't gonna heal up by yet. So I was, well, you know, I was worrying for a minute.
Oh, mere hellbells. Mr. Graydon, did you hear that? What? Your comrade is worried about you, it seems? On the count of your injured arm. My lord?
Yes, Mr. Graydon?
I have no idea what these two wretches are talking about. Certainly, I shouldn't be expected to answer anything in relation to their mindless insinuations. We know that someone other than the victim was hit by the bullet at the scene of the crime 2 nights ago. And from the height of the bullet hole in the wall, that person was likely hit in the upper arm or thereabouts. Perhaps you're allowed to court to officially examine your arm, sir. The left arm that you're currently clasping with your right hand as if in pain. No, I refuse. You have shown no evidence whatsoever that links me to these common thieves. Accordingly, I am not obliged to permit any such invasion of my privacy. As I've already said, I'm completely uninvolved in all this. I've never had anything to do with the pawnbrokery where the fellow was killed whatsoever. I take offense at this insinuation that I was in any way involved.
You claim to have nothing whatsoever to do with Mr. Winnebake's pawnbrokery.
My lord, the defense would like that last statement to be added to Mr. Grace's formal testimony.
Very well, counsel. Continue with your testimony, Mr. Graydon.
Yeah, I think I kind of have an idea what to present. Let me see. Bottom line is... Wait, that last is wait. Wait, what was the addition? Naturally, you have to make use of tomfoolery, but you are seriously disincluded with night murder. I have no chance of admitting it's such outrageous. Some sacrament detective homebrew conjecture. The bottom line is, I've never had anything to do with the pawnbroker established where that man was killed. I never had anything to do with the pawnbroker establishment. Where is it? I'm gonna try presenting this. I can spare a life. Have you ever seen this disc before, Mr. Graydon? Why is it supposed to mean something? This disc was until the day of his murder in pawn in Mr. Winterbank's shop. It was redeemed by the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, that afternoon. However, somebody mysteriously appeared to try and take it from her. And that somebody was you, of course, wasn't it, Mr. Graydon? As I have reiterated numerous times now, you are mistaken. That was not me. I've never seen that disc before in my life. It may have escaped your notice, but there is a small amount of smear of blood on this disc.
Ah, yes, resulting from the abrasion of the thumb, perhaps.
That's right. The surface of the disc is discovered in hundreds of tiny metal spots. In the skirmish to acquire the disc, the thumb of the person who tried to take it suffered minor lacerations. So, while the disc bears the remnant of that skirmish in the form of a smear of blood, the thumb of the person in question must bear the remnants also, in the form of a scratch.
Good gracious, indeed it must.
Mr. Graydon, you refused to allow a court officer to examine your arm before. Are you now going to refuse to allow us to examine your thumb? Because I have no doubt that it bears a small scratch consistent with a smear of blood on this disc. Well, it would seem I underestimated you.
What was the meaning of this?
So you admit it now. You admit you have a scratch on your thumb from when you attempted to take the disc from the defendant.
Order, order. Well, Mr. Graydon?
It would appear there has been something of a misunderstanding here. I did not attempt to take the disc as you put it. No, quite the reverse. What are you trying to say? It was really quite simple, you see. The disc was mine from the outset. Is there some crime in taking an item that you own out of a pawn? It would seem, Mr. Graydon, that in this piece of evidence, my learned friend has established a link between yourself and the incident. Accordingly, you will tell the court everything you know about the disc now. As you wish. Alright, we're gonna have to stop this part here, so thank you all so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and until then, I will see you all later. Goodbye.